evening. You are watching The Money Show on ET Now with me, Mubina Kapasi. This is the one-stop shop where we help you answer all your questions and queries with respect to money and help you not just to invest and grow, but also splurge and live a fulfilling life, solving all your money-related queries. Well, here's what we have lined up on today's show menu. First up, we have decided to bring on board the Kredent Money app that helps you achieve your financial goals. So whether you want to buy a house for yourself or you want to take that exotic vacation in Europe, Kredent Money is going to get you personalized investment advice to help achieve your goals. A preview of that app will be available to you just very, very shortly. Later on the show, we are going to be bringing on board Harish Krishnan, who is one of the best performers of 2019 with the Kotak Blue Chip Fund. We're going to be talking to him about his investment strategy and style. And finally, we're going to be talking about the new fad, that's car on subscription. We are going to be bringing on board Zoom Car to talk to us about what exactly car on subscription is. Like I told you, it's a jam-packed edition on today's Money Show. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. Bears tighten their grip on Dalal Street. The Sensex wipes out gains made in 2019, tumbles over 450 points. Nifty ends at a 7-month low to end at around 10,700. It's a sea of red across all sectors. Yes Bank plunges 16%. RIL, ICICI Bank, TCS, HDFC lead the fall. Bleak chances for a GST rate cut for autos at the crucial meet tomorrow. Tata Motors urges for a decisive move on GST irrespective of whether there is a cut or not. Meanwhile, panel may also dole out a relief for the hotel industry and mull single rate GST for lotteries. Finance Secretary Rajiv Kumar will assess steps taken by PSU banks to revive growth. He is expected to meet up with top bankers later today to take up rate transmission, support to NBFCs, and linking loans to external benchmarks. All eyes on Nirmala Sitharaman briefing in the evening. The government pushes the pedal on divestment, prepares to slash its stake in 12 PSUs, including BPCL and IOC. In fact, sources say the government may bring the stake below 51% in these companies. That's an ET Now exclusive. A first meeting of the group of ministers led by Amit Shah kicks off to discuss Air India privatization. Partial debt may be moved to a separate SPV. The government reportedly open to selling part stake to a foreign airline. West Bengal CM meets Home Minister Amit Shah and says no Indian should be put through the difficulties due to NRC. Mamta says the state does not need the exercise of NRC. Well, those were the big headlines at this hour. But before we kickstart the Money Show, let me just take this opportunity to thank all our viewers for tuning in to ET Now. It's yet another week where we have emerged as India's #1 business news channel with a market share of 60%. So thank you, viewers, for week after week placing your faith in ET Now to get you the best and unbiased news and analysis. All right, well, let's kickstart the Money Show. And today we are trying something new, and we are trying something for the very first time. And this is a technology debuting on the Money Show. We are taking you through the Kredent Money app. Here is what the home page looks like. Now, the Kredent Money app essentially helps you, our viewers, curate an investment portfolio that helps you meet your financial goals. In fact, we've decided to bring on board Vineet Patawari. He's the co-founder of Kredent Money and the Stock Edge app. Vineet, thank you for joining us on the Money Show. It's a very interesting app that you have out here. And you have, in fact, articles right from cushioning the financial crisis to starting early and retiring early, and also about the power of compounding. That's what I think that believes. Time is always right. So let's start off first, because a lot of our viewers are not aware perhaps of the importance of setting goals. I think that's what your app as well does. It sets goals. So explain to our viewers on how the financial planning process cannot start if you do not have the right goals in place.
True. So I'll probably start with a quotation that you can only reach a destination if you know where you want to go.
Yeah.
So goals are like those destinations which you set for yourself. So with this philosophy in mind, we created this app which is called Kredent Money.
Yeah.
And the objective is goal-based financial planning, right? So the whole concept is you get inside, you tell us that what is your age, what's your profile, family members, etc. And we'll suggest you some goals, plus you can put in more goals, right? So this will help you overall to meet those goals by putting in assets, money in the right assets, and we'll help you do that.
Yeah, in fact, I do see some of these goals right here: an emergency fund, a retirement fund, a wealth fund. Of course, I think these goals have just been curated by you guys. You guys are free to alter these as and when you want. In fact, I can just go into the emergency fund and take a look at it. And here it mentions that I can actually sort of alter a goal. I can add a goal as well. I can sort of customize the goal. So I think that's great. That's the great part of the app. And I think it's important that all of us use this technology, go digital when it comes to our financial planning. But you know, we speak about curated investments because it's not a one size fits all. Based on your individual profile, the sort of plan that you will need in place will differ. So when I want to kickstart my investment journey, what factors should I consider before I say, okay, I want to invest in mutual funds or I want to invest in a fixed deposit?
So obviously it's not one size fit all.
Yeah.
That cannot work. So we do a lot of profiling questions which are inbuilt in the app, which helps in designing the right portfolio, right? And we are continuously learning, we are continuously learning in the process.
Yeah.
So there is machine learning involved. The machine is learning and will suggest you goals, will suggest you right kind of funds to get invested in. So all this process is a continuous, it evolves by itself.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not one size fits all. It is attuned to your risk profile, and the risk profile is a score which comes after a lot of understanding of your profile, your family, your age, your income, etc.
Yeah, in fact, that's what's important, right?
True.
Because it does not mean that when we say, okay, you have to put in mutual funds or you have to put in any other instrument, you have to ensure that you have your time horizon as well in place. So that's very important. But you know, again, a common problem that, or rather a common question that we are asked is, कि अरे भाई market तो गिर गया है पूरा and the sentiment is so weak and you know, everybody saying reforms नहीं है. So then is this the right time to put your money in the market? So what would you say to them?
So see, when we say mutual fund, first of all, we need to understand mutual funds are not all markets, right? It's a mix of debt as well as equity, right? And all variety of it. So please don't consider mutual funds as equity only, number one. Number two, when the markets are down, typically what happens is, it's the best time, but people run away from it because of the sentiments, right? And you should not think about investing at one point of time. The SIPs which are there takes care of rupee cost averaging, and that takes care of the ups and downs of the market. Obviously, we can do more of that when we take up some questions.
Of course, of course. You know, you've mentioned over here, there's a topic, accumulate higher return to beat inflation. A lot of our investors, because they like to play safe with their money, they want to park their money in fixed deposits or in savings accounts, and I think that's worse because in savings accounts, it's as good as you're not earning anything, just 4%. And you have an inflation figure that's coming in at 3 to 4%. So if you could explain as to how mutual funds helps beat inflation.
See, if the inflation is at 7% and if you are earning anything less than that, actually your money is on a degrowth path.
Yeah.
It's actually eroding. It's not growing at all, right? So you need to pick up things which are inflation beating. So obviously equity empirically have proven to be a instrument which beats inflation, right? But the problem is you need to be invested for a long term and you need to do it on a sustainable basis, right?
True.
So you need to take care of that. So equity is one. Obviously there are other instruments also, but you need to be very choosy, and it should suggest it should be based on your profile, risk profile. Yeah.
Okay, all right. How can one essentially decide when you are supposed to invest in debt and when you're supposed to invest in equity?
Okay.
What should be the parameter to consider?
See, the rule of thumb can be when you want your money to be safe, I will not say 100% safe, but you want it to be in a safe haven, then you choose debt instruments, right? When you can take a little bit of risk, and obviously with risk can come rewards, so then you can choose equity.
Yeah.
So let me give you a small example. You want money after 2 years, right?
Yeah.
That's too small a horizon to put your money in mutual funds which are equity linked.
Yeah.
Because the ups and downs of markets, the volatility can actually erode your money, and you might not be left with the money which you have actually parked in those equity mutual funds.
Right.
But if it's a longer term horizon, then obviously you can choose equity. Yeah.
All right. So the longer your time horizon is the better essentially it is to sort of invest in equities.
True.
Now within equity mutual funds as well, you have the dividend option, you have the growth option, you have a multi-cap option, large cap option. I mean, there are a lot of financial jargons, and I think that's why many people just prefer staying away itself, from the financial world, and just be like, bhai FD mein dal ke khatam kar do. So if you could just simplify it as to what is the difference between dividend and growth.
So friends, you don't have to stay away from financial planning anymore because you have the app which will help you in doing that. Yes, but dividend and growth. So see, every mutual fund has got two plans. One is where you get regular dividend. Like shares, you get dividend on mutual funds also. And the other one is where the money is not paid out as dividend. So the growth where the money is not paid out to you will be higher, because of the power of compounding, because that money which is being paid out to you doesn't grow anymore. So you can either choose a dividend plan or you can choose a growth plan. In dividend plan, you choose when you need regular inflow of income. So say for example, people who are retired and they are looking for a regular annuity flowing in, right? They can go for a dividend plan, because typically every year an equity mutual fund or a debt mutual fund will pay dividends based on the plan which you choose. So it's primarily dependent on what's your need. Do you need money regularly flowing into you, or do you just need growth in your overall capital? So
I think this app is very nicely summarizing all the equity mutual funds as well that are there. You have a focused fund, a large and mid-cap fund, ELSS, sectoral fund. So like we said, there are a whole host of options over here. Let's start by large and mid-cap fund. We usually tell our viewers that you should start off first with a large and mid-cap fund because essentially it's the basic, right? And in fact, I'm just taking a look at the app, and there you have it. There are some recommendations as well that are being, for example, the Murray Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund. So you have the NAV value, you have the historic returns as well. I think it's giving you a gist and a brief look into the power of compounding too. You can choose your time horizon. So I think it's pretty flexible that way. But anyway, going back, why is it that we advise our viewers to start off with large and mid-cap funds, as opposed to a small cap fund or a micro cap fund? Because the truth is that, yes, small and mid-cap funds are a bit risky, but hey, they have great returns as well. And I'm sure a lot of viewers are like, hey, why don't I just dive straight into that?
Right. So see, anyone who is into market from last couple of years will not say this, because their money is eroded big time because of the small cap, especially, and the mid-cap, right? If you look at the large cap, especially the funds, the stocks which are there in the index, they have corrected like 10% from the top on an average.
True.
But the small cap and mid cap are like slaughtered to a large extent, as much as 60 to 70%, 80%, right? So there is more volatility in small cap, especially because of the corporate governance issues, because of, these are small and vulnerable to fail on various aspects, including corporate governance, including the market drying up, etc., etc. So if you are not a very risk taking investor, you can stay away from small cap, because see, in small cap at this point of time, you can get some very good bets if you know how to pick up good stocks. But at the same time, if you get into the wrong stocks, your entire money can get eroded within no time. And large cap fund gives you that stability. Obviously, there is nothing foolproof, 100% foolproof, anything in market, but it gives you a better stability, right? So if you especially look at the funds which are, or stocks which are part of index, they are more stable, because huge money, or the size is so huge, so you can say they are too big to fail. So that's what.
True, and I suppose when you are curating your portfolio in the first place, you should ensure that you do essentially have your index funds and your large cap funds in place, and then perhaps move to the small and mid cap funds. Now the question is, how closely should I be monitoring the performance of all of these funds? Because we have seen instances where the NAV of these funds have drastically dropped, especially because we have seen these cases of DHFL and INFS, where we've seen a massive drop in NAVs. So can we still adopt that approach? I've parked my money in SIPs and mutual funds, and now I can rest for another 10 years. This will keep doing its work and saving money and creating wealth for me.
See, I'll say two things here. One, you should continuously update yourself in terms of the knowledge of various products, right? So any review needs to be done, you do based on your understanding of the concept, the subject, right? What we have done is, under every category,
go ahead.
Under every category, we have put in a lot of learning videos. So it's so much of learning integrated. The second part, which is more important, is if you want to track your investments every day, then mutual funds is not the thing for you, right? What I would suggest is, in that case, you should do direct equity, and you should probably go into derivatives, etc., right? Where you can be too much involved in markets. You can do a quarterly review, or if you are too keen, you can do a monthly review of your entire investments. That's it. That's my point.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So there's no need to very avidly track each and every move in NAV. You can give it a review now and then, but there's no need really to go all in. Okay, just a quick follow-up question. People have this tendency to just accumulate a lot of mutual funds. 8 mutual funds, 9 mutual funds. Would you warn against that?
Yes. So I would say that based on how you should allocate or select mutual funds is, you should have some goals. And on every goal, you should have some mutual funds mapped, right? And the type of mutual fund can be decided based on the time horizon and your risk appetite. That's what we have done in this. And there is a lot of learning integrated, which can tell you why we are choosing each fund. So based on that, you can develop an understanding. So point is, you have 2 goals, you can have 3 funds in one and 3 funds in the other. Maybe the same funds, but you should have those funds mapped to a particular goal. That's what is my point.
Okay, fair enough. You know what, we'll do one thing, we'll take a very quick break right here on the show. In fact, we've asked our viewers as well to send in their financial goals, be it buying a house, be it taking an exotic vacation in Europe. So we are going to use the Kredent Money app to get you a portfolio that will be curated to help answer your financial queries. While I will wait for my queries to load on my goal board in the Kredent Money app, which is by the way, by now it's a website, but very soon there'll be an app for Apple.
So we are there on Android, on Apple obviously
I
will be there very
iOS
soon.
Guys, be a bit patient, but for Android guys, Kredent Money, you can, in the meanwhile, download that app. We'll take a very quick break, but be back with answering your questions and queries.
Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. We are bringing tech to your TV in the form of the Kredent Money app. And this app, like we told you earlier, is essentially the tool to curate an investment plan based on your financial goal. So whether it is buying a house or buying that very snazzy speaker, we have the right investment options for you. So let's do one thing, Vineet. Let's bring on board our very first video query, which is coming in from Nivedya Pillai.
Hi, my name is Nivedya Pillai. I'm 19 years old and I'm studying interior designing in Mumbai right now. I'm doing a job for experience. I am in second year. After I finish my graduation, I'm planning to do my masters abroad. My fees right now is about 5 to 6 lakhs per year, and my fees abroad would be about 15 to 20 lakhs. So I'm wanting to know how much I'm supposed to be taking a loan or investing for my education.
All right, so it's for her higher education, and I think either she wants to fund it herself, which is very ambitious, or she wants to essentially assist. So what we'll do is we just go onto the Kredent Money app, and for the sake of convenience and to save time, I have essentially already put the goal in right here in the app. I'm going to zoom in over here. And we are talking.
Go down.
Okay, we have to scroll down a little. Yes, we are talking about foreign education. So I'll just click in over here. Now she said that it's around 15 to 20 odd lakh rupees. So to be on the conservative side, we've entered 20 lakhs. The goal here would be 2022. Now let's look at the investment suggestions that the Kredent app is popping up for us. Okay, asset allocation. Like we were talking earlier, Vineet, because her time horizon is small, the app is saying that you'll have to put it 100% in debt. So if you could explain that.
I'll do that. So, first of all, I want to congratulate her for being, financially aware and at such a young age. So that's good. 3 years, 2020 is like 2 to 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So you need your money and you need it for sure. Right, and you don't want to have any risk in that. That's why the app is saying risk score 0, right? And if you put in equity, as I explained earlier, it can be obviously vulnerable to risk, to the volatility. So that's why equity allocation is 0.
Okay.
All the funds which are chosen are 100% debt. If you come down, the funds which we are suggesting, if you look at it, yes. So ICICI Prudential is So that's a liquid fund, wherein you can withdraw your money at any point of time. It gives you a return. You can check the return. It will be around 8 to 9%, right? So similarly, ICICI Prudential Fund, which is a low duration fund. Then there is another suggestion. If you come down, right?
Yeah, the savings fund, right?
After ICICI Prudential Savings Fund, so the third fund.
Okay, that's okay.
Kotak Savings Fund. Yeah. So what we have done is, assuming that you have that money, or probably you are borrowing it from someone, maybe your dad, you are putting it like this. So see, today if something is worth 20 lakhs, with inflation, it will go to some amount which is shown above, which is around 24 lakhs, right? So if you put your money like this in these three funds, 9 lakhs, 22,500 here, and so on and so forth, it will grow to that amount, 24 lakhs, which you will need in the year 2020. So you need to think about two things. One is inflation, and the other is the money which you put in right now can grow to that stage, right?
Yeah.
I'm not considering SIP because it's such a small time frame. The SIP amount will go very, very high. So better is if you have the money, put it right away and let it grow for some time.
Okay, all right. I just had a follow-up question on something that's appearing on the app, and that's monthly and one time. What exactly does this mean?
So monthly is basically what we commonly known as SIP. Systematic investment plan.
All right.
And one time is a lump sum investment.
Okay, so because the time duration is small, guys, if you will notice, I'm just going to zoom in here, the monthly one-time option is locked because it does not make sense that you do an SIP when your time duration is only barely 2 odd years, and hence the Kredent app tells you that hey, you will have to do a lump sum investment, and this is how they essentially advise you could go about it. So just for the benefit of our viewers and for the benefit of course Nivedya, you have the ICICI Prudential Liquid Growth, the Savings Fund Growth, and the Kotak Savings Fund Growth option. And this is how you can split your money. Okay, so that's the first example of curated investment advice that's coming Nivedya's way. All right, I hope she's been able to answer a question. And Nivedya, we wish you good luck in kickstarting your education journey abroad. Well, let's take on board our next video query. It's coming in from Amrita Nair. Listen to what she has to say.
Hello, I am Amrita. I am a 26-year-old and I am a teacher. I'll be getting married in another year, and the expenses for the wedding would be around 4 to 5 lakhs. And I also would wish to buy a house in the next 4 to 5 years. And I want to know how and where should I be investing my money so that I can reach this goal.
has two goals. One is a more near-term goal, and that she wants to get married in the next 1 year. And yes, we are in fact in marital season. So let's take a look at what the Kredent app is throwing up for her in terms of options. First, for marriage. So I'm just going to scroll down to again the pre-fed goal, and that's marriage. There you have it. Reasonable amount of around 4 to 5 lakh rupees is what she's putting. So we've put around 4 lakh rupees for her marriage, and next year, so 2020 is where we've put the goal amount. Now let's see what the Kredent app is throwing up in terms of investment suggestions. So let's start off first once again with the similar suggestion at the top, asset allocation. Vineet.
So see, it'll throw similar kind of suggestions because the time frame is such small. Here I would like to point out to all the viewers that we need to have a larger time horizon when we plan for our goals. A year or two is not good enough to accumulate any substantial wealth, right? So we need to be like, at least we should give it some time, 10, 15, 20 years. Obviously, I can understand if you're planning for your own wedding, you will not have that much time. But 1 year is too small. So anyways, what it is saying is again, invest in fixed income funds, which has got zero risk or minimal risk. And the asset allocation will be similar to what we have just seen in case of Nivedya.
Of course, yeah. So again, over here as well, like you mentioned, it's important that we sort of plan ahead. When you know that you're going to get married in a particular year, or in fact, when you do know that, okay, you are going to be in that marriageable age, maybe between 25 and 30, so you plan accordingly. But yeah, again, for the
Either
benefit...
you plan your investments or you plan your marriage accordingly.
Okay, all right, whatever is your priority. But yeah, just for Amrita's benefit, this is what her portfolio is looking like, what the Kredent app has thrown up. The funds are, unsurprisingly the same because the time duration is similar. She just has 1 year, and roughly 4 to 5 lakh rupees is the investment. So this is how the Kredent app advises you could split the money.
And you can just with few clicks invest directly from here.
Okay, all right. Oh yes, absolutely. In fact, there's an add button right here. I'm not going to click on that right now because I don't know what's going to happen after that, and I don't have so much money in my bank account.
There are a few steps for the first time because you need to do your KYC. But from the second time onwards, it's very smooth. It's like very few clicks.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer the second part of Amrita's query, and that was the wedding bit. So let's once again go to our My Goals tab, which was there at the top, and we are going to scroll down and go to the marriage, and there you have it. Sorry, this one was the home actually. She wanted to buy her home in the next 4 to 5 years. Yeah, there you have it. Okay, I'm not being able to go to the home option for now. There you have it. Okay. Buy a house in 4 years. We're going to click on that.
Right.
It's finalizing our portfolio. So we've assumed that roughly 1.5 to 2 odd crore rupees is her investment. As you can see, this is it. So we've written the goal amount would be 2.25 crores by the time the goal year, and we put the goal year as 2025 because she said that she wants to
4 years, which can be taken at 5 to 6 years.
Which can be taken 4 to 5 years approximately. Payment options and all, etc. Now it's interesting. This is our first query that we've received, which is long term. So over here, the investment suggestions will be different. So let's take a look at what the suggestions are. There you have it. Now this looks much more different as opposed to what we saw earlier, Vineet.
So in this case, we are assuming that you, given your age, you can take certain amount of risk, right? And though I would suggest, to be very, very fair, the risk should be minimal, but given the markets at this point of time, you can take that risk. 60% allocation in equity, 40% in debt, and you should ideally do it on a monthly basis. If you can toggle to monthly basis.
Okay, so we'll switch this over to monthly.
Yes.
Okay, there you have it.
If you come down now, the suggestions have changed.
Yeah.
So there you will have like 3 to 4 funds suggested, which will include large cap and mid cap. So the first one is a very high grade multi cap fund, right? SBI multi-cap, Magnum multi-cap fund. Obviously, we'll always suggest regular growth plan, right? Because in dividend, the money will come in. As I told you, it will give you a suppressed return compared to a growth fund, right? Obviously, see, you are eyeing for a big house, so you need to have big investments made. And your time horizon is again 5 to 6 years. So here the total SIP will come to around 6 to 7 lakhs, right? So 2,39,500 in this, and so on and so forth. Will accumulate to 5 to 6 lakhs, and you do it over a period of, let's say, 50 to 60 months. That's your time horizon. Then so we are suggesting 4 to 5 funds in which you have multi-cap, large cap, and to contribute for the debt portion, you have low duration fund and ultra short duration fund. The names are there on your screen. So these are the categories which we have chosen. You have seen the same fund earlier also, ICICI
True.
Prudential Savings
Yes,
Fund.
yes.
So this is based on our research. We have mapped that. It looks good to us, and we continuously keep changing that based on
Updating it,
Yeah,
yes,
updating.
based
Yes.
on what is happening. So
Happening in the markets,
So that
yeah.
way our viewers don't have to worry as to what's
Exactly,
happening. You're
exactly.
constantly attuned to what's happening in the
Yes.
market, because you guys, of course, are doing the job for them. Okay, and again, I'm just to toggle with it. I'm going to change this to one time, let's say, and I suppose then what happens essentially, we have the options changing, right?
Yeah, so now you
Is
have
there a
50
change?
lakh, 52 lakh 34,000,
okay,
right,
all
which you
right.
need to invest in the multi-cap fund and
Okay.
so on. So the
Okay.
corpus becomes much bigger because it's a one-time investment which you need to do.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so I hope, Amrita, we've been able to help you out with both your questions for your wedding, as well as, of course, saving money to buy yourself a new apartment in the next 4 to 5 years. Thank you for connecting with us. All right, next up, we have Gaurang, who has sent in his query and his financial goal. Let's listen in.
हेलो, मेरा नाम गौरांग है। मैं 32 साल का हूं और पिछले 4 सालों से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के बिजनेस में हूं। मुझे आने वाले 2 सालों में एक नया फ्लैट लेना है जिसकी कीमत तकरीबन 1.5 से 2 करोड़ रुपए है, अकॉर्डिंग टू मार्केट वैल्यू। मेरे कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी है जो चल रहे हैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स में। SIP के द्वारा मैंने पैसे इन्वेस्ट किए हुए हैं। मुझे जानना है कि ये फ्लैट को लेने के लिए मुझे क्या क्या चीजों का ध्यान रखना होगा, और क्या मुझे ये इन्वेस्टमेंट्स जो मैंने की हुई है उसे कुछ तोड़ूं या फिर ऐसे ही रहने दूं, या फिर मुझे कितना लोन लेना होगा, और इन लोन को लेने के लिए मुझे किन किन चीजों का ध्यान भी रखना होगा। प्लीज इसके लिए मुझे गाइड कीजिए। और एक बात मुझे जाननी है कि मुझे मेरे बच्चे का फ्यूचर भी सिक्योर करना है इसके साथ में, तो मैं क्या चीजें अच्छे से कर सकता हूं, क्या प्लानिंग कर सकता हूं, इसके लिए मुझे आपका गाइडेंस चाहिए। थैंक यू।
All right, thanks Gaurang for that query. Well, let's once again go back to our Kredent Money app and see what it's throwing up. First up, in our goals section, he wants to buy a home for himself. So we're going to click on that. And again, he wants to do it by 2021. But, he does say that he has some money stored away. Unfortunately, he's not shared that amount with us. But let's, conservatively say that, the entire 2 crore has to be invested. He can proportionately, I suppose, reduce the amount based on what he already has. So we've punched in around 2 crores. That comes to 2.29 by the time the goal year is reached. That's 2021. And let's see what the investment suggestions are throwing up. But I suppose over here in this case as well, Vineet, we do not have the complete picture to
I'll
give a
tell
disclaimer.
you what needs to be done. See if he's invested in equity, because he has not said where he is invested, equity funds or the SIPs and all. What I would ideally suggest, if the goal is so near and you want to be 100% sure of that, this is the time you should ideally start taking out the money from equity and start putting it in debt, so that it grows and you are sure that you will be able to get that money. Because see, no one can catch the bottom of the market. Though people are scared, but we don't know if it is till the bottom. So the money can get eroded from where it is right now. So whatever funds you have, जो भी आपके पास अभी हैं फंड, उनको निकाल के आप फिक्स्ड इनकम फंड्स में डालिए। ये मेरी एक सलाह होगी। दूसरी सलाह ये होगी कि आपके पास लमसम जो पैसा है वो इस तरीके से आप अलोकेट कर सकते हैं। उसके अलावा फॉर नेक्स्ट 2 years from your income every month you can start putting in money in these fixed income funds. So एक तो लमसम जो आप अपने अभी के जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं उनको निकाल के यहाँ डाल सकते हैं, और दूसरा जो आगे 2 साल आपकी इनकम होने वाली है उसमें मंथ आप इसमें पैसे डालिए। सेम फंड्स के अंदर अलोकेशन रह सकता है, बट आई वुड नॉट सजेस्ट इक्विटी फंड्स एज ऑफ येट, बिकॉज योर गोल इज सो नियर, ओनली 2 years from here. So
ठीक है, सो बेसिकली आपने जो इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स में किए हैं उसमें आप पैसा निकाल दीजिए। एंड विनीत सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं, या क्रेडेंट मनी ऐप सजेस्ट कर रहा है कि ये 3 जो डेट फंड्स है, बिकॉज आपका गोल 1-2 साल है, इसलिए डेट फंड्स, एंड दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई अगेन एट द टॉप where the risk score etc is shown, it's once again showing 100% debt. Okay, and finally, let's take up our last query for the day. It's coming in from Shija. Listen in to what she has to say.
Hi, I'm Shija. I'm 47-year-old and I'm a school teacher. I have a few FDs and a few insurance policies. Other than that, I've not invested much. I would love to know, where can I invest for my daughter who's now 17-year-old?
So no exact money or anything. It's just she wants to invest for her daughter's future. So let's pull up the Kredent Money app. Now what we've done is essentially for the convenience of Shrija and all our viewers out there, we've put a money of around 10 lakh rupees. Of course, it may be more, but since there's no specified reason as to what she wants to save for her daughter's future, we've put this money and we've said, let's say 5 or 6 years from now on. So we put the goal year as 2025 because again, the longer you give your goal, the better it is. So we've given that longer duration. Now let's of course go to the investment suggestions and see what's being thrown up. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, just before that, I would suggest that you should break your goals, even for your daughter. So for example, let's say you can have your daughter's marriage plan, you can have her higher education plan, because future, just saying for future, it's too broad, right?
Okay.
Or let's say if you want to create wealth for her, that's a wealth creation and you should have a time horizon in mind. So, you can have multiple goals for your daughter itself. So put all the goals and the asset allocation can actually happen based on each goal. So I want to get my daughter married, let's say in the year 2025. We have taken that assumption and based on that, we have done this. You can do it for multiple goals.
All right. Point taken. Be specific. When you say daughter's future, it can mean multiple things: education, her own, her own corpus for when she may need, etc. So and since this app is giving you that service, why not, right? So for now, yes, like we said, we've taken 10 lakh rupees. We've put the goal year as 2025, and now we are going to look at the investment suggestions. So again, we have the benefit of long term. So again, it's providing an equity component as well.
So today's 10 lakh will become 15 lakh as it is suggesting after, we are assuming 7% of inflation to be on the conservative side because that's where we are. So again, since it's a little longer horizon, there is 60% equity, 40% debt, and if you come down, you can toggle between monthly and one time.
So
right?
again, we move it to SIP. Okay.
So let's move to SIP.
All right, there you have
it'll be more manageable. So if you come down, so you have multi-cap, large cap. These are the equity portions, relatively more stable than small cap and all. We are not giving that because the time horizon again and your risk profile is not suitable to that. If you come to the debt funds, we have again ICICI Prudential, which is a low duration fund, savings fund, and then Kotak Savings Funds, which is a ultra short duration fund, right? And your allocation can be 16, 8, 8, 8. So basically what you are investing is 24, 16, 40,000 rupees per month. Right, to accumulate around 15 lakhs in 7 years time.
Okay, all right. Well, it's 7 years. So since we do not know her time duration, it could be longer, and accordingly, maybe you could add a small cap fund, etc. as well. But because we have put in the time horizon as 6 years, that's the reason why it's not throwing up any small cap or mid cap fund. But you know what? We leave it for all our viewers to play around with the app, see what they like, and toggle around based on their goals. And while you all do that, we will take a quick break. But Vineet, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks so much for giving us this briefer on the Kredent Money app.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's an investment plan out there for every goal for you. We'll take a quick break right here on The Money Show. Hi everyone, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET. Now we had a very interesting discussion with Vineet Patawari of the Kredent Money app. A very simple app, put in your goals and of course you will have a curated investment plan for you. But now here is our Spend with TMS segment, because life isn't all about investing your money and saving your money, it's also about splurging that little bit. And here is a new trend that seems to be picking up a lot. That is taking a car on subscription. Imagine waking up one morning and having a different car to drive for you. It's literally a bed-to-bed journey, as many people are calling it. That's what a car on subscription is. But don't confuse it with taking a car on lease. That's going to be different. But to give you an insight on how car on subscription works, what are the costs, etc. involved, we have brought on board Varun Jha. He's the Chief Marketing Officer and the Head of Growth at Zoomcar that does provide a car on subscription. So Varun, thanks so much for joining us on The Money Show. To start off with, if you could give our viewers an insight into what exactly do you mean when you say, I am going to subscribe for a car.
Yeah, thanks Mubina for having me on the show. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. If you look at subscription at large, I mean, look at matured markets like US and UK. Subscriptions already amount to approximately 40% of the total, car units being sold at an annualized level. So cut to India, what we basically, typically in India, we have seen this sharp rise in trend that you have actually, especially the new age customers, they are believing more and more, rent not buy psyche, which means that they don't believe in complete ownership of an asset, but access to, convenient ownership to an asset. And at Zoomcar, we have actually latched onto this mega trend of, the new age customers. So typically when I say subscription, what typically subscription means is that, you don't want to own a car, but you still want to have a car at your perusal, which is definitely significantly much cheaper than actually buying a car. So if I have to put, a cut or comparison, like typically if you want to buy something like a Swift Desire, typically a Swift Desire top end will cost you something like 8 lakhs. So for that typical price point, a customer has to, bare minimum, you have to shell out a down payment of 1.5 lakhs upfront. Then there is insurance fees, then there is EMI, there is cost of maintenance. While in a subscription, and typically what Zoomcar also offers is that there is zero down payment. So as you actually don't pay anything on down payment. There is zero insurance. Insurance is on someone like us. There is zero maintenance. You just, the way you subscribe for a Netflix or probably any other subscription based brand, you can take a car on subscription. Typically the durations are typically it ranges from 6 months to 12 months, 24 months, and can go up to as long as 3 years, right? And when you do the maths, the same, the Swift Desire, which was 8 lakh price point plus when you had to give the down payment and etc., the EMI for the same comes down to approximately 16 to 17K. But in a subscription context, the subscription fees is significantly lower than the EMI. So it will be something in the range to 12 to 13,000 for the same Swift Desire. And so all of a sudden, you have a great car at your perusal, but it is much relatively cheaper than your EMI. Interestingly, I have to draw a line between what a subscription is and what a lease is. So I'll explain with the help of the Zoomcar's context here, because we already have a market leader in the car rental space. So whenever a subscriber or a customer subscribes a car from my platform, and whenever that customer is actually not using that car, he can actually list it back on the Zoomcar app. And now this car is actually now available for the other renters to pick it from my platform. Which typically means that the subscriber who actually subscribed the car can further offset his subscription fees through the rental revenue that he earns. So in a nutshell, if I have to say that subscription without sharing is nothing but leasing, and we are not actually into the leasing world. So it is an interesting concept, and the proof of market fit and proof of concept here is that we have already, as we speak, the subscriber base that we have is already to the north of 11,000 customers. And we are just this subscription brand that we launched last year in March 2018 it's just a 15 months old brand. So this 11,000 number speaks really volume about the needs and wants of the new age customers that's shaping up.
Yeah. So, okay, great demand. 11,000 already in terms of subscribers. You know what? To put all that math in place, in fact, Varun, I'm just going to bring on board my colleague Utkarsh Chaturvedi as well. And Utkarsh, you've done a lot of work on car and subscription. Is the latest fad. Are you going to be subscribing to a car now?
Well, that's more of a personal choice. If you look at, I've been speaking to a lot of car makers also regarding the same, and now a lot of car makers have also come in and tying up with app makers like Zoomcar and others. What we have tried doing here is to give you a sense of how both of these models work. So say if you are buying a car and if you are subscribing a car, let's start with buying a car. So let's say the Mahindra XUV 300 W4 petrol. That's the basic model out here. And the on-road price of Bombay is around 9.81 lakhs. Now, given the fact that a lot has been spoken about how your credit score is, so say if your credit score is okay, not that great, then you will get around 70% of the whole value, including the registration, insurance, and the EMI which will come to you will be around 17,900 here. Now that's a monthly EMI that will come to you, but remember you're paying a hefty down payment of around 2.91 lakhs. So the total amount of the car will be 8,59,000 once, plus the interest. We are almost talking about a 12% interest at the banks, and 2.95 lakhs, which will be the biggest thing, which will be the first time deposit you have to do. So that's the total cost of your car somewhere goes to 12 lakhs. Now let's have a look at what if we are really looking at subscribing a vehicle, and if you look at the current prices of the car, it's speaking about somewhere around 27,000 per month. What we have done is, given the fact that we have taken a 4-year loan, we are talking about a 4-year subscription as well. In this case as well, in the ownership case, you have almost 4 years of duration. Now let's shift to the subscription model, how that subscription model works. You're talking about almost 27,120 rupees per month of subscription. And if I've taken this car for almost 4 months, the good part is, as Varun was also speaking about it, there is no down payment, only a security deposit at this point of time of 20,000. So we are speaking about the total amount which will go around somewhere around 13 lakhs. That's the problem. That's the devil here, that you have no down payment here. But in these 4 years, you'll be paying more than the vehicle of the price, but no maintenance charges. Good part, you can change these cars every year, and you are at a luxury that you can if you don't like the model, you can move from it. And again, the EMIs, more importantly, is the down payment of 2 lakh, 2.5 lakhs, which is something more of a choice you have, but you will not get any resale value which you will get when you speak about a ownership model.
Okay, all right. So thanks, Utkarsh, for that. You've really simplified it. What Varun was as well saying, essentially, all the advantages of having a car, and hey, you can change your car as well every once a year, right? So it's getting a new car, from bed to bed. Okay, I'm just going to delve into some more details with Varun, who's of course in the business. Varun, when I buy a car, I have insurance, I have maintenance, I have all of these ancillary payments, apart from EMI. So when I'm subscribing the car, do I have to worry about those expenses?
Not exactly, because once you're subscribing a car, you're actually subscribing with a new age platform like me. So I already have an annualized, relationship with the insurers in the country. So everything is actually on a third-party player like me. It's very similar, if the way you will subscribe for a Netflix or an Amazon Prime subscription, it's quite similar to it, that you have to just subscribe, just pay that subscription amount, and with a certain security deposit. So it's very, very seamless. So, and typically, you will be surprised to know that unlike there is a wait time to get a car, here you get a car in as fast as within 24 hours. So that's really wonderful for the customer. So onboarding flow is completely digital, it's completely seamless, and basically you get a car at your doorstep in 24 hours.
The key difference between just taking a car on rent and subscribing a car?
See, you have to actually realize that there are when you consider mobility as a as a landscape, there are two kind of requirements, two kind of consumer needs. So one is rentals, and the other is subscription. Now, how to differentiate between the two? If you look at rentals will always be short term. Say I want to go on a weekend, or probably I'm going on a vacation, or probably a 5-day vacation. I might pick up a self-drive car from Zoom Car, and I land at the Bangalore airport. I'm going to Ooty, blah blah blah, and I'm done. So rentals are typically short term, and rentals typically if you want to rent a car for a very long duration, and I emphasize on the word rental, it will definitely be more costlier. Whereas when I say subscriptions are actually broadly are longer term, specifically for a product like car, right? So when you look for example, someone is actually renting a car and wants it for 6 months, you rather subscribe it because it comes with a lot of other tangible benefits which I just explained. So there is definitely clear demarcation between the two, right? Howsoever, in both the cases, I want to emphasize this, in both the cases, the rules of ownership and the regulation of driving a self-drive car, that remains the same.
All right. Okay, I would have loved to chat more, but unfortunately we're out of time. So Varun, thank you then for giving our viewers an insight into what subscriber car means. Simple model, Take a car for 1 year and you can get another one in the next year without any of the overhead charges. Just pay off for the petrol and the subscription fees. Okay, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of The Money Show. Thank you so much for watching. Startup Central comes up next.